ՍիվիլNet TV is coming to you live from Vanadzor for the second public rally that is going to be taking place here in support of the opposition, the protest movement that has been led by Nikol Pashinyan. Today is the 15th day of the movement. Earlier today, we saw that the movement had its first rally, had its first official rally in Ijevan. This is the second one. On the way up to Ijevan, they did stop in Dilijan, where Nikol Pashinyan also addressed the audience. It has been a rainy afternoon, as you can see, with the ponchos and the jackets that are there. This has not stopped the audience from showing up en masse, as you can see here in these shots where the audience is lined up here in the square. You see Nikol Pashinyan in this shot right here. Throughout the course of the journeys from yesterday from Gyumri, today in Ijevan, Vanadzor, we have seen the crowds, the caravan that has taken Nikol Pashinyan has grown significantly and has had a lot of vehicles in support of it as it goes on. Interesting look, as you see Nikol Pashinyan wearing a hat with the tricolored flag. Up till now, he's had different statements on his flag. Normally it says Tukhov with a hammer or with a raised fist. Today his hat, oh, he might be changing that. His hat does have the Armenian tricolored flag on there. Again, we are coming to you here from Vanadzor. Let's give you a little bit of information on Vanadzor. It's the capital of the Lori province. From the 2000 census, it has just over 82,000 people. It is formerly, it's known as a city with factories. It was home to a former chemical factory. It was also impacted certainly by the 1988 Spitak earthquake. While it did not necessarily bring buildings down, it did have an impact on the population there in Vanadzor. We will be bringing you live simultaneous Armenian to English interpretation. That will be coming up shortly. We will be providing you with context of what's happening, looking ahead to what will happen, and where the movement may or could go looking ahead. Most importantly, coming up, Nikol Pashinyan has indicated that as this movement comes back to Yerevan tomorrow on Sunday, April 29th, and then on Monday, April 30th, and then finally on Tuesday, May 1st, he has asked for and expects a lot of people to come and participate in the rallies, on the streets, in acts of civil disobedience. Yesterday in Gyumri, one of the statements that he made was that he wanted everybody from across the country to come to Yerevan, to flood the streets, as he said, on Tuesday, May 1st. Now, important things to note over the next few days. Monday and Tuesday are non-work days. Tuesday, May 1st is Labor Day here in Armenia, and there's also a day off on the Monday before for this year. And so Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, 3 days where individuals will not be working, are the days in which we expect that the crowd and the support are going to be much larger, very similar to what we saw last weekend in Yerevan. Now, what is going to come on Monday is the 7th day since Prime Minister Serge Sarkisyan resigned, which means that on that day, appointments or nominations have to be made for the role of Prime Minister, as that role's nominations have to be nominated within 7 days of the resignation. And so on Monday, April 30th, we will hear the names of the nominees for the next Prime Minister of Armenia. Following that, on Tuesday, it has already been scheduled that there will be a vote for that position. Nikol Pashinyan, over the last couple of days and certainly earlier today, indicated that he should be the nominee for that position. Up till now, there have been talks and suggestions of dialogue between the Republican Party, who holds the majority in parliament, as well as with the opposition groups, specifically with Nikol Pashinyan and this opposition movement, to have negotiations to understand what that next step is. We have not seen where that will lead to. Yesterday in Armenia, in Yerevan, at the Marriott Hotel, Nikol Pashinyan had invited Garen Garabetyan, the current acting prime minister, to come for negotiations there at the Marriott. As we saw on video on CivilNet, Garen Garabetyan did not come to that meeting, and so we do not know where that will go moving forward. Now, let's take you into what is happening on your screens right now. Let's give you a little bit of a summary of what has been said here. Speaking currently is a member of the Civil Contract Party from the Vanadzor region, Aram Khachaduryan. He was just on stage, not this gentleman you see now, but previously speaking was of Aram Khachaduryan, Civil Contract Party of the Vanadzor region. He said, "Welcome everyone, you are here to see each Armenian's dream. On May 1st, we will declare a new state. Our struggle will not abate. We will continue to struggle until final victory. The unreserved guarantor of all of this is the Armenian people. On April 29th, April 30th, May 1st, we will stand in our public squares to display our spirit, our unity, our power, and thus we will declare Nikol Pashinyan's premiership." Again, these are the words of Civil Contract Party member of the Vanadzor region, Aram Khachaduryan, who was just on stage. He continues and said, "From various cities in the Lorimars, we're hearing news of the caravan that is approaching." He says, "I want to address a message to the local authorities and their patrons. You are currently watching CivilNet TV on YouTube. We are providing English language translation. We will have simultaneous interpretation happening shortly. This public rally, where you now see Nikol Pashinyan standing with the Armenian tricolored flag hat, is coming to you from Vanadzor. The previous speaker continued, "Without understanding the real depth of this movement, they are attempting to obstruct people's approach to Vanadzor." This is the message currently being said from the stage.
Այժմ սիրով խոսքը հանձնում եմ քաղաքացիական պայմանագիր կուսակցության անդամ
To finish off the statement from the previous, from this last speaker, we did mention again to finish off our note from the last speaker, who said that, who mentioned that they are attempting to obstruct people's approach to Vanadzor. They said, you haven't yet understood that this is not the new Armenia. This is not the Armenia you knew. You need to understand this movement and the people behind it. This Armenia is the future of our and your children, yes, also yours. On May 1st, we are all heading to Yerevan. This is how we build new power. Currently, we have Edward Balajanian on stage speaking. He starts off by addressing the audience. Dear people of Vanadzor, I greet you. He's now going to speak. He says, 2 years ago on Facebook, I posted this.
Լույսի հարցը լուծվեց, ընդամենը 6 ընթացքում։ Vanadzorը կարող է դառնալ Հայաստանի տեխնոլոգիական կենտրոն։
Edward Balajanian on stage, he started off by saying, 2 years ago on Facebook, I posted this about the Armenia I imagine and I dream of. That was about a decentralized Armenia, in which Gyumri was the cultural center and Vanadzor was the tech center of Armenia. And the issue is this: is that possible? Of course that's possible.
Մեծարգով պարոն Փաշինյան, արգելի հյուրեր և այսքան հարազատ համաքաղաքացիներ, առանց ձեզ դժվար էր այս ամենին հասնելը։
Edward Balajanian continued, yes, of course that's possible. Yes, Vanadzor can in fact become that center in the shortest time, he said.
Այն մարդկանց, ովքեր այս օրերի ընթացքում իրենց նպաստն են բերել
Vanadzor State Pedagogical Institute. This here is the gentleman from Vanadzor State's Pedagogical Institute. He starts off by saying, hello, Vanadzor.
Ուստի, պարոն Փաշինյան, իմ և ամբողջ Vanadzorի անունից ուզում եմ մեր երախտագիտությունը հայտնել ձեզ և ձեր քաղաքական նպատակներին։ Եվ մեր ժողովուրդը ապացուցեց, որ եթե մի բռունցք է դառնում, ապա անգամ նավով կարելի է հասնել ներների վրայով։ Շնորհակալություն։ Սիրելի լավրեցիներ, ուրեմն գիտեք, որ այս շարժումը վերջին օրերում ստացել է սիրո և համերաշխության շարժում անունը։ Բայց այս շարժումը նաև հույսի, վերադարձի և ներգաղթի շարժում է։ Որովհետև այսօր մեր կողքին են բազմաթիվ սփյուռքահայ բարեկամներ, նրանք եկել են աշխարհի տարբեր ծայրերից։ Երկու օր առաջ մեզ էին միացել Սանկտ Պետերբուրգցի մի խումբ երիտասարդներ, նրանք եկել են այսուհետ մշտապես Հայաստանում բնակվելու։ Եվ ուրեմն կեցե սիրո, համերաշխության և վերադարձի Հայաստանը։ Այժմ սիրով խոսքը փոխանցում եմ քաղաքացիական պայմանագիր կուսակցության անդամ Արփինե Դավոյանին։
Սիրելի հայրենակիցներ, սիրելի լորեցիներ, Հայաստանի Հանրապետության կպատ քաղաքացիներ, վերջին երկու շաբաթների ընթացքում մենք ականատես եղանք բազմաթիվ շրջադարձային և կարևորագույն իրադարձությունների։ Այս երկու շաբաթների ընթացքում Հայաստանի Հանրապետության քաղաքացին կարողացավ կոտրել և հօդս ցնցնել հանրապետական կուսակցության ստեղծած վախի և անպատժելիության մթնոլորտը։
We want to take you back here to the words from Mikhail from Vanadzor State Pedagogical Institute saying, "Hello Vanadzor. Dear all, none of this would have happened without Nikol. We're united as a fist, and that way we can even climb mountains." Our host then came back on to say, "We welcome the diasporans who have joined us, a group of youth from St. Petersburg. They are here to live here permanently. Welcome to the Armenia to which people return." We now have Arpine on stage, who starts off by talking about what has happened over these last several weeks, some of the game-changing events that have taken place.
Շնորհակալություն հայտնել Սփյուռքի մեր հայրենակիցներին, որոնք մեր կողքին էին, որոնք իրենց ֆինանսական աջակցությամբ մեզ աջակցում էին։ Եվ ես ուզում եմ, ես ձեզ ցանկանում եմ, որ նրանք վերադառնան Հայաստան, եւ ես համոզված եմ դրանում, որ մենք գտնելու ենք այն Հայաստանը, որտեղից այլևս երբեք չեն արտագաղթելու, այն Հայաստանը, որտեղ միայն վերադառնալու են։ Կեցե սիրո և համերաշխության հեղափոխությունը։
Again, Arpina says, during the last several weeks, we witnessed various game-changing events. Armenia's citizens were able to break the atmosphere of fear and impunity that the Republicans have created. We together were able to prove that we are the owners of our country. We are the ones deciding. We were able to put the foundation of the country of which we dream. I want to thank all citizens who participated and took a step and believed in Nikol. I want them to return to Armenia, and we will build the Armenia from which people won't emigrate. You are watching ＳիվիլՆեթի TV. We now bring you simultaneous interpretation.
Dear friends, let me give the floor now to the head. Assume contract, political party administration from Mikhailian. I managed to win war and defeat the enemy in the beginning of 90s has won again. These authorities of the Republic of Armenia have made us to come together, so we've come together to fight together against them, and that's what we will do. We'll bring this fight to the end. The prerequisite for their living without blood is the unity of ours here. That's the only reason. No one keeps them, they can leave. But not beyond the borders of this country. So I'm asking you now, tomorrow, those who can, those who won't be able to join us tomorrow and the day after, please, on the 1st of May, walking on foot, I mean on horses, on donkeys, on cars, come to Yerevan, flood Yerevan and take back your freedom, return your freedom to your families. Thank you.
Ուրեմն նորին իր դրական կողմերով միշտ աչքի ենք են, բայց պարզվում է, որ նորիում շատ են նաև այնպիսի մանկավարժներն ու տնօրենները, որոնք փորձում են բռնանալ
pedagogues that want to oppress their students and the freedom of their colleagues. I'm not going to name, but I urge them right now, sober up. And now, I give the floor to a teacher, Christine Ghazarian. Greetings, Vanadzor. Salute the Armenian people. Salute proud citizens of the Republic of Armenia. It is the first time now I can see so many people through my life. I see that belief restored in your eyes, my Armenian people, your spirit.
Back in case there are any more breaks in the action. Again, please stick with us here on ΣιβιλΝeթ TV on YouTube as we provide you a live feed of the rally taking place in Vanadzor at this time. Watching ΣιβιλΝeթ TV on YouTube. We are having technical difficulties. We do apologize. Please stick with us as we will be providing you the live feed from the public rally in Vanadzor as it is happening. We will now momentarily return to our simultaneous Armenian to English interpretation.
Four steps back, please. My dear friends, we have to move back a little bit and so that we can all breathe fresh air. Move back, please. A couple of steps back, please. And now 3 more steps.
Ժողովրդան մի քիչ են գնում։ Եվս մեկական քայլ, եվս մեկական քայլ։
You were watching a little bit of house cleaning taking place on the stage. As we've seen in previous rallies, the crowd size gets so large that it does impact the space people have. Speakers from the stage are encouraging those in the audience to take a few steps back to give each other some breathing room in order to allow them to be a little bit more comfortable over the course of this rally. As we mentioned, it is raining in Vanadzor. It has been overcast and was overcast and rainy yesterday in Gyumri as well as earlier today in Ijevan. This is the second of the day's official public rallies that the opposition protest movement has held. The first one was in Ijevan. On the way to Ijevan, they did stop in Dilijan, where Nikol Pashinyan also addressed the audience. And so ultimately, this is the third time Nikol will be speaking to the public here today on Saturday, April 28th. We will, please stay with us. As soon as the speakers start again, we will provide you with live simultaneous interpretation.
This movement
We do apologize for technical difficulties. At this time, let's, as we get the video feedback, let me give you a little bit of context as to where we are, what is happening, where this movement is looking to head. We mentioned this earlier. Today is the last of sort of the traveling rallies. Oh, here we go. We now have Aray Haruchunyan on stage, standing next to Nikol Pashinyan.
about the candidate of the prime minister. We open the news all the time and we see that certain groups, certain officials, Armen Sarkisyan was the president of the Republic of Armenia, discuss all the possible candidates for the post of the prime minister. My dear friends, just come out to the streets and see the issues closed. It's discussed and decided. I know now that I have to urge, and I do urge all the political powers, politicians here in the Republic of Armenia, when discussing this issue, take into account the reality that exists in the Republic of Armenia today. And that reality is that we are here now in the square of Gyumri, in the square of Vanadzor, in the square of Yerevan, in all the squares of the Republic of Armenia, full of people. Please consider this reality when thinking about the candidate for the post of the prime minister, and respectively all the political powers, all politicians that may dare or attempt to be nominated for this position have to remember, that they will not be able to make any decisions or do any politics in the future, because the people will perceive that as the stealth, as the attempt to steal their victory, and they will refuse all such decisions and suggestions. And this means that the political powers, just as we have announced in a consensus, all the factions of the National Assembly are going to gather and nominate the person that has been elected in the square for the candidacy of the Prime Minister, who is Nikol Pashinyan. There is one more important clarification. Please be very attentive, very attentive. So, we've appealed now from here, from our stages, to all of you. We've asked you to demonstrate civil disobedience, not to pay your utilities. That's what we've asked you to do. And now, there are news that they interrupt the supply of power, of gas, of water. I urge all the people that they can go to the utility operators and tell them that it's illegal, and after the change of the authority they will bear responsibility for such illicit actions. No one may interrupt the supply of power, water, gas to your houses. Let me also say that after the change of powers in Armenia, are all going to pay for gas, for water, and for power. That's everything I wanted to tell you, my dear friends. I wanted to tell you, you have to be courageous, but apparently there is no need for that. So, my dear friends, just as I mentioned, it is from different parts of the world that we are joined by different communities of Armenians. And today, respectively, Armenian community of Mitishi district of Moscow is joined us, led by Sasunanyan. The Armenian community of Chinartsis has also joined us. Krasnodar Oblast Armenian community led by Gevorg Tashchan has joined us. They have presented their unconditional assistance support to Nikol Pashinyan and the movement led by him. We've been supported also by the Council of Elders of Yeghvart, the Mayor of Yenokavan, the Mayor of Acharkut community, our compatriots Businessmen's Union in Georgia, led by Samvel Arekyan. Today, different rural and urban communities of Lori region have brought their citizens, and I am now urging all the mayors and the councils of the communities to join the people's movement. And I am now asking the mayor of Stepanavan, my hometown, as well as the city council, to do the same. And it is my privilege now to give the floor to the member of administration of Civil Contract Party, MP Nikol Pashinyan. My dear friends, proud citizens of the Republic of Armenia, on the 31st of March, when we started our march from Gyumri, the next point of our travel was the Lori region of Armenia, and I will never forget the attitude, the warmness, the caress, the love, the support that the region of Lori showed to us. Well, I may forget some of the communities that we've been to in the Lori region. I apologize in advance. Katnajur first, Okaran, Shirakamut, Shenavan, the city of Spitak, the city of Vanadzor, Margahovit community. Just when reaching Vanadzor, our march was apparently the hardest at that time, because we'd walked 22 kilometers in rain, heavy rain, and we thought, Well, it seemed to us that that was it. We thought we could never continue that road after that. But the warmness that we felt in Vanadzor among the people, not only our companions, but just ordinary people that we saw first time in our lives, believe me, were always in our hearts. Because you helped us, you gave us strength, you gave us new energy. And so, and here we are, when approximately 22 days after we visited Vanadzor, we're back. We're back to say, proud citizens of the Republic of Armenia, you have won. We've come to tell you, citizens of the Republic of Armenia, your victory cannot be taken by anyone from your hands, cannot be stolen. Those who would try to steal your victory, either they are from the government or from the opposition, they will, in the same spirit, will follow Sir Sarkisian. Today, many powers in Armenia try to impute the connotation of a struggle for posts or positions in the Republic of Armenia to the struggle of ours. In fact, it is something different. It is whether this political crisis shall be solved or it will continue. And so, if on the 1st of May somebody else is elected the Prime Minister in the National Assembly, somebody else than the people's candidate, then the demonstrations will continue in the tenfold more power. And I would like to say, I'd like to be very clear. I've said this and I will say this again. I don't have illusions. To think that when scanning my name, you mean my name. I believe that when pronouncing my name, you pronounce your own names. Because I have said, and I will say again, the people that have won in velvet non-violent revolution in Armenia have one leader, and that leader is each of you. Every citizen of Armenia is the leader of this revolution. It's you and you and you. And so, all the factions of the National Assembly have to unambiguously appoint you as the Prime Minister of the Republic of Armenia. And now, now, the acting First Deputy Prime Minister Karen Karapetyan recently tried to steal this victory from the people. He tried to find refuge among some allies he thought would follow him, to bring some of his companions into this unfair, anti-democratic shadow games. And I'm glad that the other Karen Karapetyan, who is a member of the Armenian parliament and the official owner of Tashir Group, the member of Tashir family, announced that according to him, Karen Karapetyan should not be nominated for the candidacy of the Prime Minister. I hope that this opinion will be disseminated through and on behalf by the Republican Party. Next. But the story will not end there. I'm sure, I hope that the other factions of the parliament also will clearly assess the situation and announce that not only should not be nominating Karen Karapetyan, but without preconditions they are going to vote for the people's candidate. Otherwise, I don't want even to discuss the other option, because there will be no other option. Next. Today, the police announced that no actions will be taken by the police that may anyhow complicate the current situation. This part of the announcement made by the police is fully acceptable and understandable. But there is also a second part to this announcement, to this statement, and there is such a part that speaks of some groups of provocators, etc. I hope that these different parts of the announcement were not made for making the police officers act non-reasonably. I want to state very clearly that if there are barbed wires, military equipment, special equipment anywhere in Yerevan, that will be correspondingly taken into account by us, and we will express our opinion about that. We don't expect shields, we don't expect buttons, we don't expect barbed wire. We need to see police officers We want to see police officers that will guarantee the safety of the demonstrators. But I'd like to remind once again that our movement is the movement of raised hands. I want to see your hands. And there can be no provocations in the movement. No impertinence can ever be connected to our movement, to any person participating, any impertinence in anyone's address, any insult, any disrespect towards the police officers is not anyhow connected with our movement. We have to be respectful, courteous without police officers. And I can see police officers, our police officers on shift right now. Let us give them a hand. And I want to say, dear police officers and citizens of the Republic of Armenia, I've said this 10 times, I can say again, this is not a trick. Right. Let's now applaud to our police officers, Greek police officers, etc. This is going to be the behavior from now on and ever. This is going to be the essence of relations between the citizens and the police officers in Armenia from this day on. I'm sure that police officers on shift, and apart from them, we have also national security officers on shift right here, who also act in the framework of their authority, ex officio, providing for the security, safety of this incredibly large rally of ours. Let us applaud to them as well. I would like to believe that from now on, from this moment on, there are no barricades, there will be no barricades in the Republic of Armenia, and respectively, the absence thereof put us all on the same side. I mean, us and the police and the National Security Service. We're not on different parts of the barricade. We're not facing one another. We're not rivals, police officers and national security officers. From this moment on, we're standing beside one another for free and happy Armenia. Dear friends, I generally don't like when I see some publications with words that I've never said. But there is one very important news that I have to inform you about now. And so, just minutes ago, the factions of the Republican Party, the Republican faction has announced that they are not going to nominate the Prime Minister in the Parliament elections. But it's not bad, but it's not so good either. In order to have it good, I think the Republican faction, it would be better, I think, that the Republican faction announces that they might, together with the other factions, nominate the people's candidate for the post of the Prime Minister. And I want to say that I'm ready to meet all the members of the Republican Party together at the same time to assure them that when we say we close the page of hatred in the Republic of Armenia, we are very serious with this. And if they make their step, I mean the members of the Republican faction and the other factions, by doing that step, they will become a part of this historical achievement. And so, I'd like to say once again, I hope that the other political powers, other politicians, will not even try to steal the victory of the people, because the consequence of that might be the withdrawal of these politicians and political powers from the political arena of the Republic of Armenia. Will you approve of that? And now, the next steps. Starting tomorrow, even though everything's going in a very favorable, conducive manner on, tomorrow at noon, 12 o'clock sharp, the whole territory of the Republic of Armenia, including the capital, will restart the actions of civil disobedience. All the educational institutions shall be on strike. All the roads will be closed. The other day, there was a delegation arriving from Alaverdi asking us whether they could close the railway. They could, of course. If you want, you can block the railway as well. And so, all these actions shall be taking place with one and sole requirement. The people's candidate will be immediately elected as the Prime Minister of the Republic of Armenia. That's the plan for tomorrow. The plan for the next day, the day after. Oh yes, and tomorrow in the evening at 19:00, 7 p.m. sharp, Republic Square, Yerevan, we are going to hold the largest ever, the strongest ever rally, meeting and gathering. But at noon, tomorrow all the roads have to be opened at 4 p.m., all of them, without any exception, so that people can reach the Republic Square. I would like to once again apologize for all from all those citizens who still managed to stay, to ignore everything that happened and preferred watching football and finding some daily errands for their routine. We are all very sorry for all the discomfort that we have caused to you. But we have to do that because we are deeply sure that we are doing that also to create such Armenia in which you also will feel yourself really free and happy, and your children. Please do not be angry with us, because we love you. And so once again, I'd like to remind one thing. Dear friends, dear people, we heard from some civil works there were some theft. I mean, they were just trying to steal some cement. Well, and they were caught by the police, and then they said, it's fine, we are for Nicole. Can't we steal some cement? Well, and then they called me now. Did you ask them to steal some cement for you? Well, really, my dear friends, once again, dear people, no impertinence. No, even such behavior can be accepted. No action that might harm somebody else, damage somebody else's property, has nothing to do with our movement. Once again, no cars without number plates. Most of our friends say, yeah, but we're going to block the road and then they're going to record the number plates. Guys, really, I'm telling you, for 1 week you are the authority in Armenia, that you're afraid of somebody recording your number plates. Go and block the road and do what you do. You are the authority in the Republic of Armenia. And so, tomorrow at 12, we're going to block everything that can be blocked. Educational institutions right from the morning tomorrow. On strike, everyone. No lessons. I'm sorry, it is Saturday, it's Sunday tomorrow. Anyway. Yeah, but you see, everyone's not going to have lessons tomorrow anyway. I was right. Okay, so at 4 p.m. tomorrow, all the roads have to be unblocked, have to be opened without exception, so that at 7 p.m. sharp, everyone's able to reach the Republic Square. And today, this strong rally of ours may not be finished without a good march. And it will start from Tigran Metz Avenue. I will tell the rest. So please remove those cars. Also one of the ambulance and the minibus, and please no one moves in that direction before we reach that point, so that it's better organized and we move in the head of the rally, in the head of the march. So dear people, proud citizens of the Republic of Armenia, you've won, and that victory cannot be stolen from you. There is no one who can take that victory from you, and so viva freedom. Viva our children who will live in free and happy Armenia. Who already live in free and happy Armenia. Victory.
You have been listening to Nikol Pashinyan from the stage at the public rally taking place in Vanadzor. Today is Saturday, April 28th. He brought up a bit of breaking news, and we wanted to address that here with our audience. What we have is that, and this came from spokesperson for the HHK, the Republican Party, Edward Shadmazanov. He said that the Republican Party will not put forth a candidate for prime minister for the election that is going to take place on Monday or Tuesday, May 1st. And then they followed that by saying the Republican Party will actively participate in discussions in who should be the prime minister. In this case, they will wait to see whether there are any candidates other than Pashinyan, and then they will vote accordingly, preferably as a bloc. Now, what does this mean? This does not necessarily mean that the opposition has won. If the Republicans decide not to vote and there is no majority for prime minister, the National Assembly is automatically dissolved and the new election will be conducted according to the current electoral code. Let me read the line in the Constitution that most directly is associated here. It is Article 149, Section 3. In case Prime Minister is not elected, it says, in case Prime Minister is not elected by majority of votes of the total number of deputies, the National Assembly shall be dissolved by virtue of law. So therefore, this is not necessarily a win for the opposition. It is, again, it is something that will bear watching as we go forward through tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday with the vote. It is going to be interesting to watch Monday on who the nominees are going to be for the position of Prime Minister for voting within the National Assembly. Again, the Republican Party has announced that they will not put forth a candidate for Prime Minister, and they will actively participate in the discussion for who should be Prime Minister. Ultimately, the Republican Party will be waiting to see if there are candidates other than Pashinyan, and then will vote accordingly. This public rally is taking place in Vanadzor. The earlier rally today took place in Nichevan. Yesterday, you watched the public rally take place in Gyumri. Tomorrow, on Sunday, the marches and the demonstrations come back to Yerevan. And as you heard from Nikol Pashinyan, who confused Sunday and Monday, he encourages people to take the streets. Earlier yesterday, he mentioned that he wants people to flood the streets. He encouraged acts of civil disobedience without violence or any violent actions. We will be waiting to see what Yerevan is like tomorrow and report that back to you. This is CivilNet TV that you've been watching on YouTube. Follow along on Facebook at CivilNet TV, also on Twitter at CivilNet TV. CivilNet will be bringing you all the latest updates and information. You can also go to civilnet.am to read articles in English and Armenian that discuss the current situation, as well as what will be taking place as we move forward over the next few days and into the next week. You've been watching CivilNet TV on YouTube. We will be back tomorrow with more live coverage and footage of the marches. You can follow along on Facebook Live today to see the continuation of the march happening in Vanadzor. Have a good night.